Okay, I am just going to do an introduction to the rights of persons accused of crimes. This is a pretty substantive topic, but I want to just give you an introduction. Now, let's put this in perspective. There are 10 rights that are listed in the Bill of Rights. Only 8 of them actually give directives or substantive and say what can and can't be done. The Ninth Amendment says that just because it's not actually written down, that doesn't mean that you don't get that right. There could be more. The 10th Amendment says that if rights have not been assigned to the federal government or prohibited, then the rights belong to the states and to the people. So neither one of those are substantive. Of the 8, and we have talked so far about the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. I showed y'all that the Third Amendment is right to quarter soldiers. 4 of them, so the Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, and the Eighth Amendment all address the rights of persons accused of crimes. Seventh Amendment is the right to a trial by a jury trial in a civil case. So, and by the way, I don't think it's been incorporated. So, apparently, the way that government acts when a person is involved in the criminal justice system was a huge deal. Fully half of the rights that are listed there, and many of these have several rights included. The Fifth Amendment is huge, and it just keeps throwing out rights, more rights, more rights, and more rights. But collectively, these are called procedural due process. And what it simply says is that if you are involved in the criminal justice system, that the government has to do right. They put procedural safeguards in place that go from the moment that you have been charged with the crime, including the amount of bail that you get, when you are, even before you're charged with the crime. If you are arrested, there are certain things that they have to do, that law enforcement has to do, and if they don't do it, then they can get in trouble. It goes through actually being convicted of a crime. There are certain things that have to be proven before you can be convicted of a crime, and punishment. The punishment has to fit the crime. The punishment can't be cruel and unusual. Certain people can't get certain punishments. And so all of these are talking about the process or procedural due process. So this chart just outlines the 4 amendments that we just discussed. The Fourth Amendment talks about search and seizure and arrest, the proper procedure for searching a person or arresting them. Fifth Amendment talks about self-incrimination. This is where we have the double jeopardy prohibition against being tried twice for the same crime, and has a due process clause that says you can't be deprived of life, liberty, or property without proper legal proceedings or due process of law. The Sixth Amendment says that you have the right to be represented by an attorney, and that you can speak with an attorney before responding to questions from law enforcement. Doesn't say those words, but that is the way that it's been interpreted. and you have the right to confront the people that have accused you of a crime. You have the right to be informed of your charges. You have the right to a speedy and open trial, and you have the right to a jury if you want one. And then the Eighth Amendment talks about bail, can't have excessive bail or fines, and cruel and unusual punishment. Another way to say that is the punishment has to fit the crime, and the punishment cannot be overly cruel. So this chart, I hope, will be very helpful for you. Probably really wise to put on a note card